second. Okay, you should be on. I'm gonna look at the camera today.
Well, yeah, I know. I was chastised for not looking at the camera. Probably changed the whole desk sort of like a semicircle. We all set, folks?
All good.
Well, folks, welcome to your weekly select board meeting. A quiet week in Parsonsfield. Debbie Danielle's on her way coming.
When she doesn't have a client, she will come in.
Okay. So our town clerk will be delayed. Report will be delayed a little bit. Moving with the agenda items of the notes from last week
Should be on.
and the agenda for this week, which we've approved, and the bills that were approved and paid. So the town pays its bills. You- No ads, but I thought we had some ads.
Not that I'm aware of.
There were some listed on the planning board.
They weren't sent to me.
What?
They were not sent to me.
What, the ads?
Right.
They were in here.
She sent them to me.
Yeah.
Ads.
Well,
It's for
our
their special.
town clerk,
Sidewalk.
Oh, it's the shopping guide.
Yeah.
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 But I didn't get a copy of the ads themselves. That's what I'm saying.
our town clerk, are you available, or?
I am. I don't mean to barge in.
Oh, come on down.
Oh, you can bring all your
Barge
goodies.
away.
Barge away. Some packets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I can give you one.
Thanks.
She can take mine too.
So just kind of updated some items that we talked about a little bit last week. We can go through each one and just so you can have a look at it, maybe we can discuss more in depth next week after you've had a look at them. But we did go through and update the resident concern form just to provide a little bit more detail. Photos, signatures, basically kind of like a timeline on when it was received, who it went to, and how it was responded. So if you'd like to look at that, and we can fix whatever you think is appropriate. But ideally, we'd like to start a binder with these citizen concern forms, put them on the website and Facebook page. So when things do come up, people can fill these out and start kind of like a communication chain.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately, after this is all taken care of, it goes back to the person that files the concern. So it closes the loop on different things.
Sounds good.
I like it.
Was there any thought given to putting a number on these?
We can?
just so we can have some kind of,
Cataloging almost.
yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe I know it costs a little money, but a two-part form?
Okay.
What, Ed?
A two-part form, so it gets filled out and sent in. We respond, keep the original, and send the copy back to
Oh, yeah.
the person who
Uh-huh.
initiated the concern.
I'm not a fan of multi-part forms, so my suggestion would be to make copies, but just my suggestion.
Whatever. I just thought it'd be easier than just making a copy, because everything would be right there, but whatever. What do you,
So, keep the original, make a copy and send it, is that what you're?
that's what David,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, isn't that what you said too?
Well, mine is having a copy with it, so that when you fill it out,
Oh, I see,
you're
yeah,
filling out the copy and everything
Yeah.
at the same time, and then,
yeah.
Building permits are like that.
Are they?
who, what?
The building permits are like that.
What, the copy, okay, well, maybe that's,
You can look at it, I guess.
yeah,
Okay.
All right.
maybe next month start this, or depending on when you get everything together,
I
as
think
soon as
it's
you
ready.
can.
Ready to go as far as starting to use it. I mean, do you want to wait and kind of look at it and make a decision next week, or do you want me to put this online?
I don't think we need to wait, everything's right there, we've talked about it for a few weeks now.
Right,
Yeah.
and if there's a problem, we can fix it.
The only thing I would add would be contact information,
Okay.
either an email or a phone number. I mean,
On the person filing the concern?
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, probably it will be the method that we receive the form. Well, if it's phone, no.
Well, you're right, David, and then your person filing concern and phone number or something or other.
Or email or phone number.
Yeah.
And that's,
Whatever
I
they
mean,
prefer.
the response on the bottom would be,
Right.
yeah,
But we don't have that
Right.
on here. We don't have an
Okay.
email or a phone number
oh, for them to put it,
for
yeah,
them to put in.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
Yep.
can add that up top.
Yep.
I'd be happy then putting
Okay.
it online.
All right. Well, I'll add the number in the corner and the contact info around the person that's filing it and get going with it,
Mhm.
I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The Text My Gov system, I did spend some time last week, and came up with kind of an information sheet I would like some input on. I tried explaining everything this service can do. It's quite a bit, and it's kind of hard to follow sometimes on how this can be used. So I tried coming up with an information sheet that people can basically read before they fill out the survey
Mhm.
online. I can't figure out how to do that before they take the survey, other than putting it as a PDF, read this first, then fill out survey.
Oh.
I'm still trying to figure out how that works, but
Oh.
I'm using Survey Monkey.
Yeah. You could always put the info out and say, you know, a survey will be following.
Okay,
Just put the information out and say
Information
survey to follow at
first.
some point.
that's a good idea.
Yep, so give people time, because this is a lot of information.
Yep.
Yep, it's a lot of information.
And I did I tried putting examples of what we can relate to in Parsons Field
Mhm.
on how this can be used. Just, I tried using different things, not just roads, not just ACO, not just this, not just that. I kind of mixed it up a little bit. So would you mind reading that to see if I forgot anything or?
No, I'll
any
read
edits
through
or
it. I
anything?
did read through it,
Okay.
once already. I thought it was good. And do you want to mention too that the email from Waterboro that,
Yeah.
that we got a response. They use this system in Waterboro.
Mhm.
And, so I emailed the, woman who handles all of it, and she said they use it a lot. It's worked really, really well. She said, believe it or not, we use it a lot about their trash center, about hours and openings and stuff like that. But anyone who wants to use it opts into it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rave, which is an EMA system also, notifications, kind of the same thing. You opt into it and then you can get the text, so. And she said it works really well and people like it, so that's one of the
But yeah, it can be used in various different ways. It's a big tool. And just a matter of, I also was thinking about maybe offering, like, in the survey, if people would like to go to a public informational meeting on how to use this, and, you know, we call in Text My Gov, they could zoom in, they're way out west.
Oh, yeah.
But they do, you know, serve a bunch of
Yep.
main towns. So we could go through it. Yeah, it's a handy tool, so. And I really like the idea of, I think, every week, it seems like we could be using this tool in some form. You know, if trash didn't get picked up one road, you could go online and map out, say, if it didn't get picked up on Smith Road, I could go online and highlight Smith Road. And they have a database that has phone numbers. And they don't have to opt in, they don't have to do anything, but they would collect all the phone numbers that were available for Smith Road, and we could send out an alert.
Oh,
Trash
wow.
will not be picked up today due to mechanical errors. It will be picked up on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So that's really neat. People don't have to do anything, and we could do that on our own.
Mhm.
So you're saying it would have phone numbers from people who have not opted in?
Yep, they have a GIS database with phone numbers on physical addresses, whether or not they've updated their phone numbers or not, but it was included in the price. That's when they said that they only required a 3-year contract rather than a 2-year, because that would allow them to gather all that information. They have a big information system that they can gather that information from. But
So
people
it-
don't have to do anything.
So it isn't always an opt-in. So what part of do you have to opt into?
So say that we had a big snowstorm and we weren't gonna open. We could, if people opted in to receive alerts from us, we could send out alerts to those people that opted in. Look, the office is closed today due to the winter storm, we will reopen tomorrow. That would go all out.
But
as
you
a-
put
as a
this
text
on the
message.
website, though.
We do, and it wouldn't change anything. We would still do website, we would still do Facebook, but this is for the person in Portland that's working, trying to get to the town office to register their car, and they're not always checking website and Facebook. A lot of people rely on just text messaging now for appointments and different stuff. Community events, trash updates, all kinds of different stuff, so.
I guess, can we go back to the opting in or not? I guess I don't understand the distinction then.
So,
How do you see it different from the road that didn't get their trash picked up in the example that you just gave?
because people have to opt into to receive alerts for town-wide. I wouldn't circle the entire town and send out a mass text to everybody if they didn't want it on town closures or something. But say if trash, I keep mentioning for trash, if that didn't get picked up on one little road, I can circle that and there's 20 people on it, and that would go out as an alert.
Can people, I mean, I'm always playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, please.
Can people opt out if they don't want anything?
I can ask him that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Because some people are gonna say it's an invasion of my privacy. You got
Yeah.
my phone number, how'd you get my
Yep.
phone number?
And that's why we got this survey, you know, would you
Everyone's
like to
phone
receive
number's out
that?
there.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe you can't get all of them.
Yeah,
And maybe they wouldn't be able to get the
Right.
ones that you can't get.
Exactly.
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think that's where the survey comes into. People can either do it by paper or online.
Or online.
You know, do you want this or do you not? Like, do you not want, you know, see where we're at?
Yeah.
so.
I don't mind, I could, like during one of our lunches and
Yep.
to Parsonsfield residents, you know, mostly older folks who probably would say, I don't look at my phone, but it would be just a good idea too.
Yep.
I can hand the information to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make an announcement, like when we do our community stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
I dare you to say survey monkey at one of your lunches.
I know, I will.
Yeah, I know.
Now that you dared me.
But I would imagine if they're entering in the phone number, there must be a way to, you know, take it out. If someone said, listen, I don't want it, you know,
Yeah.
just take it
Yeah.
out of their database.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
I mean, I'm sure there's a way to opt out if you've opted in,
Right.
but for the non-opt-in messages.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I'd be curious, otherwise I
I guess
don't have any problem with
the
the
opting
survey.
in part of it is just for information that you want to have. but the, you know, the major one on the roads and stuff is like, almost like, trash isn't an emergency, but, you know, we
Right.
could use that push, like, hey, this is really gonna affect
Well,
you.
and
You
it
need to
may
get this
save you a
message.
ton of calls. Like, how come my trash
Well,
isn't
yeah,
picked up, so.
yeah, and, you know, people can get it immediately, so.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now, you said there's no additional fees.
No, there
Now,
is
did
not.
we,
Well, there is a
my
fee,
mind might
there's
be
a fee
slipping,
to,
but did we agree to purchase this?
No.
No.
not yet, no,
Oh, okay.
no,
And the no additional fee is to the users at the other end.
right.
The town has to buy this.
Right, and that was
Pay
like
subscription.
$2,500 or something?
This is, so the cost of the first year is $3,000, which
Okay.
can be used for ARPA funds for the first year. They can build it, and the first year for setup is $3,000. Every year after that is a $2,000 service fee to have this service. But that initial built-in
Now,
$3,000
who-
cost is ARPA fees for,
Gave you the information concerning we can use ARPA funds?
the company.
The company, okay.
Yep, and they gave me the language on what other towns have used to use ARPA funds.
But only for a one-time purchase.
Right,
The
I
initial
didn't think this
cost.
type of thing was eligible
I'm not sure either, only,
ARPA funds.
it's
It
a-
is, it's just, for what I can understand, it's the first year cost.
and that's
The
it.
setup,
Right.
first year, ARPA funds, the rest of that is kind of maintenance, so.
It's like hiring a person, you can't use ARPA funds to do that.
Right. This is a service for the
Okay,
town,
well, we can
so.
do a little
Yeah.
more research there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you have any suggestions on how to change any of the quiz or quiz survey or.
Yeah, I'll read it over and
information,
then we can,
Please let me know.
Yeah. My only comment is it seems a little long.
yeah,
and
there's a lot of
people are gonna lose
information.
interest halfway through. But I don't know what you cut out.
Yep,
Okay.
Is the survey, is this going to include, are we getting, I don't want to say are we giving too much information, but there's a lot of information going out via Facebook, via the town website, via something like this. Do people want that information, all that? I mean, that's,
that's one of the questions.
Yeah, that's what the survey's all
Are you
about.
happy with just the Facebook and website information?
Okay.
Or would you like this in addition to that? That's
Okay.
It's a quiz, survey questions. Yep.
Very good. A lot
Now-
of work there, thank you.
Yeah.
do, I'm assuming this bad assumption, do they keep track of, does someone keep track of usage?
Yes, it's a whole online system that basically the town
So
office
if
has
we did
access
this
to.
for a year
Yeah,
and 10 people used it,
yeah,
then maybe we wouldn't do it,
Cancel
we
it.
could discontinue it.
yep. The only thing they ask for is if we do want the mapping capability for, like I said, if trash gets picked up,
Yeah.
sending out a text message, we have to opt in for a 3-year contract.
So that's a $7,000 commitment.
Yes, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
My math is off.
But if you
Mapping.
didn't want the mapping capability, then
Well, I mean, it sounds like a nice feature for what you were describing.
it's
Yeah.
just we could use it a lot just for that. And also, you know, if a plow truck was down,
Yeah.
then they were having an emergency. If we
Tree
use
down, wire down.
wire
But could
down,
you,
If my
could you do this information from your home?
Yep, it's all.
So you don't, no one would have to physically be at the town hall to
No, I could log in.
handle all these complaints and, not complaints, yeah, right, complaints. I
It's
mean, they're gonna
not-
call the town hall and say, my road's not getting plowed, or my trash didn't get picked up.
They can text this number and go directly to the plow contractor.
Okay, so there doesn't have to be someone here.
Nope.
To
That's the beauty of this.
answer the phone,
This is-
so to
This is
speak.
24/7. People can
Okay.
get information 24/7. Yep.
And this is,
If their mailbox get hit, they could take a picture of it and send it right to the plow contractor by email or text message. And we would also get a copy at the town office knowing what's going on. And we could also run a report on how many mailboxes got hit last winter. I mean, just for an example. I'm
Does
just,
a plow contractor have to opt in? Does he?
they can get it by email,
Yeah.
or we can get it, print it off, and give it to them. Whatever they want. Yeah, and not to hammer on the contractors, but.
Right,
just-
right, right.
Just trying to think of examples that we've dealt with. So. All right.
Good.
The online assessing information. I did receive a lot of feedback from the clerk site, and I did do a short Excel sheet kind of outlining where people are at and if they use online assessing or not. I listed all the towns that currently use O'Donnell's online assessing and the CAI Technologies. Porter is a huge fan of these guys and use online assessing from them. And I talked to the company, and they serve a total of 74 towns in Maine. So.
But only these are online?
No, this was my own poking around.
Okay.
And then I talked to him, and he said we serve 74 towns in Maine for online assessing.
For online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Yep, thank you.
I talked to Cornish, and she thinks it's wonderful, but they are actually going, they had Vision for their online assessing, and they are migrating from Vision to Trio Web.
So Trio Web has the
They
ability?
do. So if we're looking at going that direction, maybe it's worth to see what Trio Web can offer. I did email Trio for a quote for Trio Web and the different capabilities, and she's just getting back from vacation, and she'll give that to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess we'll need to look into if they're really going away from the
yep,
sequel version,
SQL.
which isn't that old,
Right.
and we're gonna have to look into fiber here.
And funny you say that, not to skip around, but we received a complaint first thing this morning about a maroon sedan on Lost Mile Road going down a long driveway, and the owner not being able to catch up with the car. It had
Say
a
again,
placard.
we had a complaint about,
Somebody going down a long driveway that worked for a company, but they couldn't figure out who it was.
okay,
This afternoon, we got another call over by Province Lake, same car, and I called the state police. State police called me right back and said they did catch up with them this morning, and Spectrum upgrading our internet on that area. So I'm wondering what they're upgrading.
Oh,
Is there any way we can get that information, or?
should be.
I don't know if it's fiber, but,
Yeah,
Oh.
I doubt it's fiber.
Yeah.
but they're doing some work in Parsonsfield
Yeah,
and
Spectrum.
improving,
Yep.
so state.
That was
police,
a-
so.
an item we looked at when this opera thing came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And we sort of divided the town into Gaul into 9 parts, no, 4 different areas, I believe it was. Sent some information to Spectrum, like Province Lake was one area.
Hmm.
The village was pretty much taken care of. We had 3 or 4 areas. And as I remember it, they wanted hundreds of thousands of dollars to do like the Province Lake area, you know, all those, that cluster.
Yep.
It was over $100,000 to do that.
Just to bring it up Elm Street is, you know,
Yeah, so
thousands and thousands.
we figured that it was more prudent to do a lot of other things as opposed to just trying to do one thing, so.
Mm.
And there are other options for people that can, there's the satellite, there's Star or whatever the heck it is, Starlink, yeah. So it costs a little money, but not that much more.
The IT technician that worked on our computers, he mentioned, as far as EMA is concerned, if we become a shelter,
Uh-huh.
we can get fiber. I don't know if that's a future plan or not, but
Yeah.
it seems like
It's-
that might work.
I have a meeting with them Monday, with
Okay.
EMA, and that's part of it, so,
Yep.
yep, I'll find out.
Okay.
Can you check, are you gonna check on the shelter aspect?
Yes.
Is that, okay.
Yeah.
Recognizing that we had the Red Cross in here years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. They weren't interested at the time, as I recall.
They weren't. And we said, well, we have, you know, the locate, whatever.
Yeah,
And they said, no, go to Bonnie Eagle. That's your
Right.
approved. And I said, you know, doesn't make too much sense.
right,
You can't get out of your house basically, how are you gonna get to Bonnie Eagle, but that's another story.
yeah. maybe
So that
take
would be
us
good
off
if
the-
they could,
Yeah, I will definitely find
because
out.
we now have, of course, the generator, and we now have the kitchen,
Yeah,
so we'll be looking at a minimal, I would think, cost to perform a service like that.
right. It might be minimal cost. I'm not sure about any other requirements, like it
Well,
may take
I'm
us
sure
off.
there's gonna be
Yeah.
other
It might take us
ancillary
off the main
requirements, but,
deregulated building for
That'd be
water.
interesting to see what you
Yeah.
find out.
so that would be
Great.
good.
Okay,
Moving along.
Is the water spigot on
outside.
outside?
Honestly, yes.
Okay. We had a request and I said, yes, it is, and I said, oh boy, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Is it, what'd you
Okay.
say, the other,
There was a request from Parsons Field, on the communications site looking for water, because they didn't have water.
oh,
So
okay,
just making sure the spigot was on outside.
Yep.
That's all I got. I took up enough of your time.
that's enough.
It's enough.
And
That's enough.
just real quick, some of the stuff that Chris came up with in terms of internet and computers and stuff,
Yes.
do you want to bring that up at another time? or-
Yeah, we can
Is it-
talk about
okay.
that next time, if you guys want to look it over and.
Yeah, there was a lot
talk.
of good stuff I thought that we probably
Yeah.
should do, like
Okay.
Microsoft 365 is,
Yep.
we're not, okay.
And he, some of those things, he said it's, ARPA, you would qualify for using ARPA funds on those types of improvements.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, that
Yep.
would be great.
thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Danielle.
I'm gonna watch the
Thank you.
window.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along. The code enforcement officer's report is monthly, and he will be turning in, I think he has turned it in, I'm sorry. And we have the animal controls report
I don't think this,
and the state police.
I don't think Jesse's turned in his report.
Well, maybe it was February. I think I've got, well, we'll see. We'll talk to him. Our planning board's next meeting is our March 27th, 6 o'clock. Comprehensive Committee, March 26th, that's 6 o'clock. Secaucus Road update is probably just David saying, Yes.
SOS.
huh?
I thought we were gonna take that right off.
No, we need to keep it on there. It's an
Okay.
ongoing thing. Yeah, no,
Okay.
nothing has changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have, maybe, Danielle, you can answer a question here too.
Yeah. I was just saying.
We have the rescue report, that's come in. We have something from M&T Bank, which Danielle supplied us with.
Yep.
Could you explain that?
I don't have a copy of it.
Here you go. Any more do you need? Okay.
Oh, the interest that we earn,
Just what is it?
the interest in the checking account.
Shows that we earned almost $8,000 in interest in February.
But like
Just one
return
month?
deposited items,
Yes.
special handling?
Those are charges that are waived. They're waiving. We had 2 return checks, and normally that would be $10 a piece. And
Return checks from vendors that we sent to people, they,
no,
No.
trying to pay to the clerk's office, and they hadn't, for whatever reason, returned check.
okay.
The bank would normally charge us $10 per return check, but the bank is waiving all our charges.
Okay.
So we don't pay anything, and we're almost earned $8,000 worth of interest
Okay, so we have basically $8,000 worth of interest
for February.
for the month of February.
Just
Yes.
so,
Okay.
yep,
I could live off that interest.
yeah.
That's who?
I could live off that interest.
Well, we could do something.
I mean, you can, count on that rate every month, so. Good
Now-
budgeting tool there.
Yeah, yeah.
This is separate from the reserve account, right?
The reserve account has its own interest.
Right.
Yep, with same bank.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
did get a brief from our previous attorney, David Laurie, concerning the Moreau-Nelligan case, which is in the Supreme Judicial Court. He wrote a brief outlining the town's position that basically would like our policies and ordinances followed.
We say our previous, he is still working on that case and also providing any updates on the Stanley building.
He shouldn't, which case, Dave, then? Moreau case?
Yeah,
He's not working on that, shouldn't be.
well, that's what this was about,
Well, I know, but this was outlining the town's position.
right? That's working on it.
Oh,
isn't
okay,
it?
well, that's the only thing he's doing, though.
Okay, they're billable hours, that's
Well,
all I
that's,
meant.
right, too many probably, but that's the only thing he's doing,
Okay,
as far as that's concerned.
so he's done with that.
Well, as far as I know, he's done with that. If this is
Okay.
what he's submitted,
Okay,
that should be it.
okay,
That's all we've asked him to do.
okay. Thank you.
The road salt, we have a request from Southern Maine on estimated road salt usage for next year. What they do is they combine quite a few towns in York County, and we buy the salt together, so we get a much cheaper price. In the last few years, we've saved about $6,000 to $8,000 a year in salt, if we just went out and purchased it on our own. We got a little note here from MMA Risk Management Services. They're out here, met with David a few weeks ago. I don't know if he mentioned that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Concerning some issues with our salt shed on Secaucus Road and the emergency door here at the building, so we'll be working on those, get those corrected.
So why do we have this, Debbie, on the agenda?
Something he sends every month.
Yeah. Well, I get an electronic copy.
I should be getting one
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Do you get an electronic copy of this, Ed?
No,
No. Okay.
but it was in the package of the agenda, so.
Oh, I know. But
Are
I
you
thought
saying
that-
it probably doesn't need to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
To take it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
We met with the road commissioner earlier today. There's some emails concerning Lost Mile Road and Route 153 about culverts and little road washouts, which he has to handle.
We should note
We-
that Route 153 is no longer the proper designation.
Well,
It's Province Lake Road.
Not to be confused with the other 153.
formerly known as Route 153.
Right, there you go. The road formerly known as.
By New Hampshire. Unfortunately, Maine has another Route 153 in the northern part of the state, and they were concerned.
Yeah. Well, okay.
We were, road commission also went over some items with our snow plowing contract, even though it's been less than snow a year, concerning the salt usage and the equipment that was being used. And there's some items that have to be addressed with the two vendors. A little too much salt being used by one vendor and Not enough of the equipment they signed up for being utilized on the roads, so we'll be looking at those over the next few months. And this is a note we had concerning the 153, formerly 153, now Province Lake Road, washout and crumbling tar. And we have someone on Lost Mile Road who absolutely does not want the road paved. And a few of our neighbors feel the same way. So that's something we'll have to talk to the road commissioner about. Sometimes it's more expensive to maintain a dirt road than it is to pave a road and not have to worry about it. So we'll be looking into that. Jen and Dave have been working on the cannabis petition. I don't know, Jen, you want to?
Well, we've just been in touch with our new lawyer, and between, his name's Ben McCall, and us, we've had a lot of emails back and forth, questions about changing land use and ordinances, and we're gonna meet with him in early April and he will draft ordinances and we'll work on them then.
Jen, you've been also working on the Long Lake?
Oh, Long Pond.
Long Pond Lake, sorry.
Yep. The Long Pond Association has not been getting their consumer price index cost increase every year, and we've come up with the figure of they're owed $617.43 from the town to catch them up to 2023's rate, and they'll put another amount in for our town budget in September. But this amount of $617.43, if we all approve or agree that we can write them a check for that amount to catch them up to where they should be.
So that'll be a warrant item, obviously, in the town meeting.
It should be paid before then, I think.
Okay, I don't know if we,
Yeah, we have funds that we can use.
and that means that the town meeting
Unanticipated.
amount will be like $2,600 then, or $2,700.
Well, they got $2,200 yet last year, so adding the 6, that makes it 28, and it won't be
Okay,
much.
so-
It won't be much more than that in September.
Okay.
Yep.
Does the contract actually say the consumer price index?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I would make a motion that we use monies from the unanticipated expense account to pay this.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor of using the money from the unanticipated? So that passes, Deb. As we mentioned last week, Jen has been exploring town hall entry doors, and it looks like we're going to choose somebody. I don't know if we have 3 quotes.
Yes, we do. Yep, three vendors, 2 that have actually come out and given us an estimate by visualizing it, and 1 that was sent pictures of our entryway and then sent us a quote. They range from $6,570 to $11,300. And the middle one is $7,380. Those do not include any necessary electrical work that would need to be done, as in outlets for the operators themselves.
we should say this is for automatic openers.
Automatic
not for
openers,
new doors.
right, not new doors.
Yeah.
The doors that we have are good and usable, and wireless push buttons to get into both doors at the same time for ADA access.
And there was, it just started concerning me, and that was, one of them at least talked about framing. I guess it's the 11,000 one.
Well, it says,
Any necessary electrical by other and framing by others. I'm just curious if you know what that framing might refer to. And maybe it's if you're going with new doors.
Let me take a look and see.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't notice that earlier. I would have asked.
I think what they mean is the door operator itself, one of them would be required to be put up into the ceiling, and I guess a new frame put on the edge of the door. Is that what he called it, a reveal?
And that one just says framing by others. And
Is it, which one is it?
it's the 11,300.
Oh, okay, yeah.
well, in either case, that's an additional charge from their quote.
No.
Yes,
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
the electrical and framing.
And framing.
So in effect, that is separated from both quotes.
I'm curious what the framing refers to, that's all.
But if we needed framing that the electrical would have to do, I mean, that's not a difference from that quote. In other words,
That's true, but getting the framing done may be an issue.
well, I mean, but you're gonna have to get it done in both instances.
Okay. That's the only one that flags that.
So do you wanna try and make the decision today? Do you wanna wait? Do you wanna look at that framing issue a little more?
That was from the,
DSI?
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem making a decision today. That's more a curiosity and a hope we don't need somebody to do some framing. Because that may be more difficult than anything.
Right, that was from the first estimate. Let me go
Yeah.
back and,
Hopefully he hasn't been calling us because he's got the wrong phone number.
Well, can we ask, the person or the company that supplied us with a $6,500 quote, he said he'd be happy to put together a formal proposal?
right, he has not been out here to look at the doors themselves.
All right, could we
Okay.
ask him to do that?
Sure.
Because I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me to, the 11,300 seems a bit out of the ballpark.
Like 3,000 more, right,
And if,
4,000.
yeah.
yeah, 11,3, 7,3.
So,
So, I mean, to me, if, well, we'll see what he comes back with. If the proposal's reasonable, I would go the less expensive one. If there's something missing and we feel uncomfortable with it, then we just bump it up a little bit.
I mean, he said, let me know if this works in your budget, and I will get a formal proposal pulled together.
Right.
So, it's possible that it would work in our budget. I won't say that it's a definite, so,
I mean, you could ask him if we understand that the power would be our electrician, and there would there be any additional framing or something needed?
any
or-
necessary electrical by other, framing by others. Yeah, when this guy came and gave me the quote, and we talked a lot about the electrical, about the wiring and where it needed to go, he said nothing about framing.
and maybe you're right, maybe it's a,
Yeah, I think it was just a
Maybe it's just
piece
a
on the door.
compartment for the
Right. It wasn't-
electrical outlet. I mean, you know,
Yeah, it was more like opening up the drop ceiling, getting a door operator in there, and then having somebody
Well, maybe
finish to
he-
make it look better. It wasn't,
Maybe he thought there'd be needed framing because of the drop ceiling to hold
no,
the...
it wasn't a structural thing. It was more like just, I think, covering
Oh,
up whatever
okay.
they did. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I don't know, Ed, your idea of getting the formal proposal is good, but I would ask Jen if you're comfortable with making a decision today, or do you want to get that more information?
Why don't I get the more information?
Okay. Right.
The middle quote, I think, he was very thorough in what he said he needed to do in terms of electricity and moving the exit sign and where the buttons should go and how the doors would work. He was also, I guess we have some kind of a push button on that first door that you can take a key and lock it so
Yeah.
that you don't have to use the thumb.
Right.
So and nobody else mentioned that was something that you need to change in order to have the door open, but not be able to be open after hours. So it would require, I think, somebody to do key unlock.
So we would keep that functionality, and that's what we would,
We would have to open that up for the day.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So they still have to be unlocked, basically.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but the first guy didn't see that about the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'd be comfortable going with that middle quote of 7,380, but let me go ahead and get a, why not?
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind.
Good. All right.
I think somebody who doesn't come out and actually take a look physically at what we have is, just going by what he sees in pictures, and it could be different if he comes out, so, see what
And
he
he's
says.
also putting in for the worst possible
Scenario,
conditions,
yeah.
if he's gonna give us a quote, I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Dave, the Boston Post, did you have any chance to,
There were a couple more things under Jen. I don't know if she wants to.
well, Tri-Town, I'm sorry,
Oh, geez.
Tri-Town, we can't
Well,
forget
and the
Tri-Town.
Recreation Committee, not ready for complete policy yet, hopefully by next week. I spent the weekend on EMA stuff. The Tri-Town meeting update was just concerns by other towns that Parsons Field doesn't pay any kind of a maintenance fee like the other town taxpayers do. It was definitely not a deal breaker and nothing that they wanted to further discuss after we talked about, our capital investment of containers and the fact that we don't put a lot of trash there. They kind of backed off and said, it's something that they want to have a little more clarity on. So, yeah, we might hear about it again. Maybe we won't, but,
Well, when we bring approved trash over there, we pay a fee,
correct.
and that fee encompasses, or should encompass, their operating costs that they're concerned about, so it's,
Well, their people pay the same fees.
I don't know, they pay higher or lower?
No, they pay
No,
the
they pay the
same
same.
fees.
Oh, okay, I thought we were paying a premium.
Well, that was their initial plan, but then they said, no, that's gonna be too hard to keep track of.
Right.
So if you guys buy the 2 dumpsters, then we'll just charge you the same
Okay.
rate. So that's what we did.
That was a chunk. It was a good
Yeah.
investment, so,
Yeah.
yep.
All right, so, anything else, Jen? That can't be
No,
anything else.
I think I'm good.
Dave, you were doing anything on the post can, or?
Yeah, we've identified a probable recipient. I don't want to say who that is at this point because we have not contacted that person or relatives. But in the next week or so, we'll be going forward with that and hopefully be able to present the Boston Post cane in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We have to get some plaques made for the cane.
All right.
Yeah.
We have no company this week. So with that, we will close the meeting.
I'll be over there in 3 or 4
Yeah,
minutes to
yeah.
shut it down.
Dave
Oh,
will
Dave.
limp over, he's doing his 250 steps an hour on a very limited basis.
250 steps an hour a day.
Yeah,
Per day, yeah.
maybe.
So I just want to see how you're shutting it down. so-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
First thing is you exit full screen. You can
Okay.
just hit escape or you can click on hit escape. Well, okay, you're supposed to be able to, come on. There we go. And then end live video.
Okay.
And end